I'm Roy Burns, one of 3 owners of Aquarian. It's always been my passion that we manufacture the best sounding and best feeling drum heads in the world. I'm not a high-tech type of guy. I'm basically a musician. I use my ear and my experience to test and develop our drum heads. Naturally, I receive a lot of input from our engineers and our many fine endorsers. I would like to take you on an inside tour of the Aquarian factory so that you can see our combination of careful manufacturing methods, high-tech machinery, and attention to every detail of every part of the quality that goes into an Aquarian drum head. This is the first step in the process. Our XR drumhead film comes in on large rolls. The slitter is set by computer to cut specific sizes to create the best yield of the material with the least amount of waste. The slitter cuts various sizes of sheets to exact size and with amazing speed. The XR drumhead film was developed especially for Aquarian. It is extra resonant and durable with great stick response. This is one of several steel rule die presses. This press cuts out the various sizes in preparation for the actual molding and forming of the drumheads. This press trims and punches the holes in the XR drumhead film before the heads are formed. The hoop is joined in preparation for the next step. This is one of several presses where the collar is molded and the overall shape of the XR drumhead film is formed. This process takes more time than most people would expect. We are very careful not to overheat the XR drumhead film. This is one of our insertion presses. The formed drumhead is fitted into the hoop. All hoops are absolutely precise and accurate so that the heads can be pressed in evenly and consistently. This ensures perfect collar height all around on each and every drumhead. This is one of several liquid control machines. It ensures precise measurement of the high strength resin for each hoop size. It mixes the components to form an extremely hard and strong resin. This achieves the final lock between the head and the hoop. The finished heads will be coated, dots will be applied, or muffling rings will be added later. This is one of our silkscreen machines. It puts the identification on each and every drumhead. One machine can silkscreen hundreds of drumheads an hour. The heads are now put into boxes in preparation for shipment. Let's talk about tuning the snare drum because it's the most important drum in the drum set. It's best to start tensioning the bottom head first by feel rather than by pitch. For example, if you press firmly on the edge of the head with your thumb like this, if it feels spongy or soft, it's too loose. If it feels as hard as a tabletop, it's too tight. It should give just a little bit, but it should be nice and firm. Then you can check for pitch, tapping with a drumstick or a drum key like this. I've done here what many drummers do to reduce the buzzing from other instruments, and that is these 2 tension screws on either side of the snares are slightly looser than the rest of the head. Not a great deal looser, but just a little bit. As long as the bottom head is nice and tight, you're going to get a good sound. Let's start with the snares off on the top head so that we can actually hear the pitch of the drum. Now when you're tuning, go around the drum about a half a turn at a time. It isn't really necessary to go across and back and forth, but if it makes you feel better, go ahead. Once you think you've got the head fairly evenly tensioned, tap at each tension screw with a drumstick, a drum key, and see if you have about the same pitch, like this. That's pretty close. The head should probably feel about medium. The next thing for you to do is to put the snares on and see what kind of snare response you're getting. If the snares are medium, you're in pretty good shape. Now you basically have your snare drum tuned, the bottom head tighter, the top medium, the snares medium, and you're ready to go. Now let me show you why Aquarian drum heads are so easy to tune. First, we have our sound curve collar design, which allows the drum head to seat naturally on the bearing edge of the drum, just like the calfskin drum heads that I grew up playing on. I'm sure all of you have had the experience where you put a new snare drum head on the drum and you get a wrinkle on one side of it. This is due to the fact that other drum heads have a pre-formed collar, a sharp corner, and it often doesn't match up with the bearing edge of the drum. The great thing about the sound curve collar design is it adapts to any drum, no matter how the bearing edge is designed or who manufactures the drum. Next is our safety lock hoop. which ensures correct collar height all around the head and prevents the drum head from slipping inside the hoop, which is the major reason most drum heads detune. When the resin goes through the holes into the T-channel, it's locked in there securely. Our heads don't slip, they don't detune. They keep their tone quality until you simply wear them out. This is our texture-coated drum head with our special satin finish. We were the first company to develop a coating that wouldn't chip off in the first or second week of playing. I've played brushes for many, many years, and I wanted us to have a drum head that was easy to play, that had a good sound, a good feel. This coating is sensitive, it's thin, it's very durable, and there's no need to break it in. You can take it out of the box, put it on the drum, and play brushes immediately. Let me show you. When you're first learning to play brushes, try to develop a sensitivity, a little bit of a feel. Don't push into the head so hard, or where the brushes are bending. For example, that's way too much pressure. Try to pick the beats off. And when you practice this sweep, like on a basic brush pattern, start with the left hand first. Try playing a long oval to get a little pulse just from the left hand, and then add the right hand. Now that's a very basic brush pattern, one that you can use in many kinds of music. I've watched many, many great brush players. They all seem to do everything a little bit differently. Watch as many great brush players as you can, experiment, and take what seems to work for you. Just remember, you can play a lot of things with brushes that you can't play with sticks. Brushes are fun. Let me show you. Since we're still on the snare drum, we have a minute here, let me give you a few suggestions how to improve your buzz roll, something that almost everyone has trouble with. Do three things. Start with the snares off, don't press too hard, and don't go too fast. Let me show you what happens if you press too hard. Now I'll show you what happens if you try to go too fast. The reason for keeping the snares off is you can really hear what each stick is doing and whether or not your roll is even. If you can get it to sound good without the snares, when you add the snares, it'll sound great. So try and see if you can get this sound before you add the snares. If you can do that, when you add the snares, it'll be terrific. There you have it. Last but not least, let's check the snare tension. It's a very simple way to do this. First of all, play a little buzz right near the edge of the drum. If the snares are too tight or the bottom head is too loose, you get an effect like that. Then tap it easily in the center, so you get a snare response, and then hit the drum hard, and the snares, if they're properly tensioned, the bottom head is tight, they won't rattle all over the place. Now, if you notice through all this tuning, we've used no muffling. Always tune the drum wide open. If you need to add muffling for a performance, for a recording, that's up to you. Now your snare drum is basically tuned, and let's move on to a couple other snare drum heads I'd like to show you. This is our patented high-energy drum head. It was designed for rock and roll players, heavy metal players. It has a plastic laminated cloth on the top, which is very thin, but unbelievably strong and incredibly durable. It won't fail you in the middle of a concert. It has a nice sensitive response, good full mid-range, and lots of power. Now I'd like to show you our new Response 2 drum head. It's a 2-ply head. This version is coated with our special satin finish. It's a very durable head, it's a very versatile head, and it's especially good on snare drums that have a lot of high frequencies, like a metal snare drum or one with a very sharp bearing edge. Let me give you a little bit of an example. I'd like to demonstrate for you our texture-coated head with our power dot underneath. This is our patented power dot, very soft, very durable, very sensitive. The head is very versatile. For example, sensitive near the edge, very full in the center. Really a head for all kinds of music, all styles of playing. And now I would like to talk to you about tom-tom heads. These are all 14-inch tom-tom heads, and I've already tuned them to save us some time. I'd like to show you our classic clear, which is a medium weight, single ply head, very lively. Now when tuning tom-toms, just like the snare drum, it's best to have the bottom head tighter than the top. For example, this head has a very open, very lively sound. A lot of players like it because of the bright attack and the extended sustain. This is our response to drum head. It's a 2-ply head, it's clear, and it features our exclusive process of vacuuming the air out between the 2 plies. That oil look that you see in a lot of 2-ply drum heads is not oil. It's actually a spot where the 2 plies don't touch evenly and it reflects the light. We don't get that light reflection because our plies are even. In this case, you get a more even sound, you get a more sensitive response, and it's much easier to tune the drum. For example, that's our response to 2-ply drum head. And with the bottom head, remember, if the bottom head is too tight, you'll choke the drum. If the bottom head is too loose, you lose all the resonance. This is our texture-coated head with our satin finish. It has a great attack, a nice warm sound. It's a real traditional sound, a favorite of many jazz drummers. This is our Performance 2 head. It's a 2-ply head which features our vacuum process, no air bubbles, no wrinkles. What's really unusual about this head is it provides that classic, deep rock sound that a lot of young drummers have been searching for. No muffling, no tape needed, just tune it loose and you're ready to go. It was designed for loose tuning. This is our Studio X drum head. It was one of our very first designs. It has a lightweight muffling ring just around the edge on the underneath side. This eliminates a lot of high frequencies. For moderately hard playing, it's a very warm, deep sounding drum head. For example, this is one of our newest designs, which is called our Double Thin. It's a 2-ply head. Again, it uses our exclusive vacuum process. There are no wrinkles or bubbles. It's thinner than a conventional 2-ply head. It's more sensitive. It's got more highs. And it's great for guys playing in small groups who like that 2-ply head sound. For example, now I'm going to play a little bit on each drum so you can hear the difference in the tone quality of the various drum heads from one drum to the next. There you have it. This is our Super Kick bass drum head. It has a floating muffling ring that eliminates high-end ring, but it doesn't eliminate the mid-range, the low end, or the punch. It also doesn't reduce volume and depth like a pillow or a blanket. This ring floats with the head because it's glued only around the outer half-inch. The rest moves in unison with the drum head. There's nothing on the bearing edge, so you get a real nice fit, so you get as much resonance as possible out of the bass drum. Now I'd like to show you our regulator front bass drum head. This bass drum head features the same patented idea of a 10-inch floating muffling ring. It's just enough to eliminate high-end ring. It makes it very easy for close front head miking, and it works great in combination with the Super Kick. This is our most popular combination of bass drum heads. This bass drum head has our Super Kick on the inside, our regulator on the front, and an Aquarian kick pad right where the beater hits. This adds durability, focus to the sound, and gives you a lot of punch. I'd like you to hear this drum, first of all, just by itself. Now, I would like you to hear it in conjunction with the entire kit, playing a little rhythm here so you can get an idea of what this drum with these heads sounds like with the entire ensemble of the drum set. This drum kit features our vintage heads. This is a new product and is a result of a lifelong dream of mine, to develop a modern-day drum head that had the natural feel and sound of the calfskin heads that I grew up playing on. I'm happy to say that we've achieved it. These heads have a soft, natural feel that closely approximates a natural skin. In fact, I'd like for you to hear them just a little bit right now. This is the same setup of PV drums, Sabian cymbals, and vintage drum heads that I used at Modern Drummers' 10th Anniversary Drum Festival. It was a great time to be there. I really enjoyed it, and I hope you like the following performance because, as you can tell, I still love to play the drums. Take it away, Rick.
This next gentleman went out on the road and took drumming into the stores, into the schools, and was one of the very first to become an artist-clinician, which has led to days like this with the Drum Festival. Mr. Roy Burns of Aquarian Accessories.